know about you, but I feel good. What's up, my Grobies? Bringing you another episode of the iGrow Show. It's your boy TJ. You know what we do. Today's episode is a little different than what we usually do. Sitting next to me on tonight's show is my guest, Julie Curran. She is an attorney in the city of Chesapeake. Virginia Beach. Look at me. I started the show with half a joint. I'm good. In Virginia Beach, she is here tonight to help us understand a little bit more clarity in some of the laws that we have going on, some of the things that are going on in the area. She offers free advice on a, what was the platform? I'm sorry?
Free Legal Answers. It's sponsored by the Virginia State Bar.
So, on top of, being here to help everybody out any which way they can, she's also here if you have any questions, you can write up there and cross your fingers you get a wonderful lawyer like this to help you out. There are a lot of great ones, but she's our local. So, that's why we're sitting here with Miss Julie tonight. So, for tonight's show, like I said, our whole scores have been down. The way we're going to do our whole thing to stay on Messenger and keep our games going, because tonight's show, as usual, one of our watchers in the greater state of Virginia gets to get their hands on one of these lovely flowers here. Tonight, we are going to be giving away this wonderful gorilla hands. Chimp brain. This is chimp brain. We can pull it up on the microscope here shortly, but if you've been watching my show, you notice I don't bring too much weed up by a grinder, but this, I have a grinder out. This stuff is so sticky. I have a hard time rolling papers with it when I'm done. So we'll go into that shortly. That's one of the plants that we're growing here for you in Virginia Beach for you guys. So, thank you. Julie, tell us more about some of the stuff you do in the area. Tell us, what do you got going on here?
Well, I'm here tonight basically to talk about the new marijuana decriminalization and to help those of us who support the legalization of weed to stay out of trouble on the path towards that happening. And a lot of people are saying that it's now legal in Virginia, and that's really not the correct statement.
Not the correct statement. It may not be wrong, it's just not the right one.
Right. So, because what happened is, you now can only get a summonable offense. It used to be a misdemeanor or a felony, but now it's like a traffic ticket, as long as you're within the rules.
Okay.
You'll get a summons, maybe a little fine, So that's what people don't understand. There are rules. And I'm not saying you have to stay with them, because we all know there's a gray market already.
There's right? Plenty of people out here doing plenty of things.
And I'm not judging. My job's just to try to keep you safe and keep you out of jail.
Which people like me should more than enough appreciate. Thank you very much.
With that said,
so
1 ounce.
Is the current rule, huh?
It is the current rule. Hopefully it's going to go up to, 1 ounce. Is it 1 ounce? Yes, 1 ounce.
That's the public number, though, correct? Like, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, what you have in your own home is a little different.
Yes. In your own home, you can grow 4 plants per adult, labeled.
Oh, per adult?
Per adult.
Oh, I thought it was 4 plants per household. Is that not it?
That is not it. It's per adult.
Oh my Lord! I love you even more.
Let's expand to 8 plants, everybody.
Oh man, that is a great way to get midsummer solstice. Now I get 4 plants per member of my household if I label them with the driver's license.
Exactly. Labeling is key.
Okay.
And so if you have to be over 18, because you have to have the DL number.
Yes.
So, but it's 4 plants per adult.
Okay. And is that an over 18 adult or an over 21 adult?
Well, that's a good question.
So we don't, they just say adult.
They just say adult, but I do believe that almost all regulations for this type of thing are at 21.
Yes, I assumed everything was in the same wheelhouse as alcohol. You have to be 21 and up to consume or possess, or I guess maybe not necessarily
pass is it work? Like the way bar service would work? Would you consider that like so your waitress can be 18, serve you your cocktail?
Everybody that I've ever seen
Uh huh.
is over 18 doing it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean we
But
don't
over
support children.
21,
Yeah.
right? I don't know, that 3 years in there, I'd say why don't we just stick with 21?
21 is a safe answer. I've had to ask several of my drivers to make sure that their, contact was the 21 and up. We had one 16-year-old, actually, a youngster, try to order. And thank goodness that, we tell my staff, I'm like, do not, if they look wrong, like if they don't look 21, you must ask, period. And, like that borderline, just check. Just check. I do not want to contribute to minors. That is not what we are here to do. That is a whole different ball of wax. You're not just going to get, this. This is good enough on its own, but now you've got a bigger ball of cheese to deal with. So,
Yeah.
we are a 21 and up service, and we stick to that.
Yeah, 21 it is. And, smoking at home, fine. When you get out in public, you're not supposed to do it. You're not supposed to do it in the car. You're not supposed to carry it in the car unless it's in a locked container
Yes.
and outside of where you could get to it. So, like in the trunk.
Yes. I've also heard that in the cases with single cab pickup trucks behind the driver's seat, so where he can't physically tilt his seat up to get, I heard that might be an acceptable answer from somebody as long as it's still in the locked container.
I like the idea if you're driving a truck and you have a toolbox in the back with a lock on it.
Best place for it.
Put it back there.
Best place for it.
Because cops have discretion. And you don't want to allow them an opportunity to go further.
Yes. Remember, guys, be smart. That's rule number one about all this. Let's be as smart as we can. I get, hi, I'm the crazy dude. But again, I try to be as on the level as I can. I sit here every week. I talk to these wonderful folks and try to help them do this all for themselves, which is really my main goal. I love these plants. It's the retail, as it were, end of the market is one thing, but the cultivation, that's where my passion lies, and that's what I'm here to try and really spread to the community. Build a sense of community. We're here together. We don't have to still be ashamed of who we were, like to this day I still have family relatives who are, they're like, no, you're a drug addict, and I'm like, what? I'm a burnout. What? I ran a successful company for many years, and I just changed my industry back into this. Like I burnout's not something I would describe myself as, but again, there's some people who, and me personally, I have experienced this, that are just still looked at in that old light, and that's kind of crazy to me. Like, I don't get it. There are so many successful, positive, influential people on the planet that partake in cannabis. It's not anything to be necessarily ashamed of, and there's still that percentage of people who is under the old point of views of like the reefer madness kind of stuff. Up until a recent time, I had my grandmother, for example, is a perfect example. She genuinely thought if you smoked cannabis, I'd end up playing the piano and throwing my wife out the window. Like that's not how that works. I'm gonna pick my wife up, throw her into bed, and love her. Like it's not. That's not how that works. But
Well, the founding fathers, some of them partook.
to my understanding, there
Thomas
was
Jefferson.
there were farms all along. They thought this
Right.
country was going to be built on it, and here we are. So it has not been. But imagine what a few hundred years with hemp in the in the popular culture and in the right hands of science could do. Mass producing paper fields. Let's save the trees by planting trees.
Right.
That's how you do it. All of the leftover stuff that we do, I try to reuse as much of it as possible. I use it to bed my other flowers or to add nesting into the
Perfect.
lower potting beds. I try not to waste too much, just because there's so much good stuff with it. I don't know how to make paper, so otherwise I'd be looking into that. But I mean, I've seen people even take the hollowed out sticks nowadays, and they're just nipping them off and they're using them as filter tips on the end of joints. So instead of even having like I do with the cardboard tip here, So instead of doing one of those, they're just using a piece of this. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Have you seen the way they do some with like stuff in there? How did they do that?
Oh my! So
It's with tools?
no,
No?
it's the way you fold that paper,
Ah,
right? And
that's
so,
amazing.
in my younger days, I actually did a weed origami rolling class. So I have a handful of really cool joints that I can roll. The Pineapple Express icon, the crisscross. I can make one of those. But I can also do what they call the rose petal.
Yeah?
So it is a long, thin stem that is all filled with flour. The filter's on the bottom, so it's a long stem, and it comes up to a bulb, and the bulb is full of flour. And you light the big bulb, and you smoke this big bulb, and there's like a piece of paper that acts like a petal on the side. And as you smoke the joint down, the petals fall off. Yeah. And so I've done my fair share of that, and so I saw the cardboard tips, and I was like, maybe when I have a few minutes, I'm gonna practice a star. That star looks really cool. I think you saw the same thing I did. Was it the
Must
star?
have.
Like they looked like one had a star in it, a few other ones, but I just used the classic zigzag. Just want to keep the buds out of my mouth, and you ever smoke with somebody? Well, maybe you haven't, but I've smoked with plenty of people, and you go to get this thing back after 2 or 3 people, and it's saturated. You end up ripping off a big old chunk of it and start again. Not very pleasant. This little bit of cardboard or whatever, the tip that you put on here is a massive lifesaver in those situations. It's very hard to get one of these back pretty saturated.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway, so I know we had a couple questions come in earlier in the day. We can go to those, but
Good.
I got a couple more as far as how the regulations so we're allowed to grow our 4 plants.
And
Is there-
there was one thing I wanted to mention. Even in the juvenile court and custody cases, the judges aren't really judging people for smoking anymore.
I heard that not too long ago. When I went through custody with my ex, there was some of that still there, and the judge made mention that that's not the end of the world. He didn't necessarily say it would be like it's okay, but he was just like if that's what the people are doing, that's nobody's on crack, nobody's shooting dope, nobody's
Good judge.
yeah. I wish I could recall his name. But yeah, like this was said to me, and in the past, and by past I'm gonna go 2017. So
Well, up until
even a
last
few years
year,
ago.
it was being used in custody cases
Yeah,
against parents.
it's quite a shame. This does not make anybody a bad parent. I mean,
does not.
if you're a shit parent, first of all, you're a shit parent to begin with, and I'll say the words and I'll call you out. Weed doesn't do it.
No.
If anything, it's made me much closer to my children. I suffer from 3 blown discs in my back. And so for me to go out into the swimming pool and flip my daughters and jump off the diving board, you'll still see me playing and everything else out there with them. Yeah, 5-7 years ago, they gave me a whole collective of pills to take. Take all these. They'll make you feel better. They'll make you, nope. They made me horrible. The moment I was able to, smoke cannabis again, I don't have any medications that I need anymore. Like, I'm not saying don't take your blood pressure or don't take your cholesterol pills. There are some things out there that are okay. But holy crap, the amount of black market Xanax, black market Percocets, black market, I mean, it's pretty crazy. So
Yeah, not good stuff.
we try to go avoid with that, and cannabis has
Absolutely.
become so much better for me. It's taken me away from a lot of things that were like in that wheelhouse, and
Absolutely.
it's been a very positive influence to my personal life. So
It helps with pain.
yeah, it does.
It helps with glaucoma.
One
There's
of
so many things that weed helps with.
one of the staples that I like to keep is the Gorilla Glue 4-strand, GG4. It basically was designed for medical grade pain relief. When I am in so much pain that like it's hard for me to stand up and walk, I can actually use some of that, and it will relieve some of that from me. Like I'll be able to now function. And no, I'm not great, but it has taken it away enough and adjusted it enough to make me functioning again to my family, and that's pretty epic.
It is.
So no miracles, but I've also known people who have, a friend of mine, Bob, had skin cancer and made some RSO and FECO and was applying that topically. And after a year, went back to his doctor, had no more of this. The doctor was like, "What'd you do?" He told him, and the doctor told him he couldn't see him anymore because he used cannabis to solve his problem.
That's crazy.
It is pretty wild how that works.
I hope he got a new doctor.
He is now in a much better place. He's in a medical state where he has easy access to all of this instead of having to try and acquire things in the black market at the time and finding the right thing in the black market. That tends to be the worst part.
Yeah.
You have limited options. You have limited, choices, and when you're stuck with that, you're like, oh, you get this and only this, and that's it. And you don't know what it's going to do, and maybe it's going to make your anxiety higher. Maybe you're somebody who has anxiety, and you need to combat that. So you wouldn't want to do something that will more or less boost your heart rate, something that'll get you more energetic. And each of these profiles do something like that.
The fact that you have this knowledge is really kind of amazing, because I've never really met anybody who could talk about this with the knowledge about the different strands, and not only on the growing side, but how it helps, or which one will help you.
Yes.
That's really important information.
I truly think so. We have a whole list of all of our products that we have on the menu. We try to list that all clearly as we can on the website. If you have any questions in person, you can call my staff. My staff is fully trained to tell you. Anybody in the call center, answer all your questions. I'm having trouble with this. I'm having trouble with that. We even got some real interesting ones recently. I'm not going to bring that up. I'll tell you after the show. We'll keep that one off air. But I had a really good one recently, and we were able to help them.
Excellent.
And you are going to laugh your tail off when I tell you after this. Like,
okay.
But anyway, so, each one of them has its own purpose. Each one of them does its own thing. There is no one answer to this.
There isn't.
We had a terpene wheel that I show my staff, and I try to explain to them what it is. And this thing it's huge, it's big, it's ridiculous, and there's 500 options on there. And I'm trying to make every one of them learn how to read it correctly, so this way they can follow the graphs to what leads to what. So, like,
amazing?
yes, if you have, let's just say for example, you know that there's a cannabis, a THCV, that will actually be an appetite suppressant and help you lose weight.
I didn't.
Pot to help you lose weight. Try
That's
that one.
really,
That's a good one, isn't it? Pot
an
to lose weight.
oxymoron.
You guys should be looking for THCV if you need something like that. It is not one of the easiest terpenes to come across in these plants, but believe me, with all the hunting that I do and all the lab results that I take these things for, I'm going to find one, and I'm going to save that one, and we will, bring that out as often as we can because, I still struggle with this. I used to be 400 pounds.
Well, good for you. You
Yes.
look good.
Thank you. Definitely not 400 pounds
No.
anymore, I'll tell you that much.
No, you look healthy.
Thank you. I have tried my hardest. It was not the crack diet either, the get weight loss quick scheme.
No, it was the weed
Har-
diet.
A weed diet and hard work. Hard work. Building fences in the middle of summer for 2 years straight ought to do that.
Yeah, hard work will do it.
Yep.
Yard work, construction.
Construction, that's where I had been for
Yep.
so long. So, yeah. So when it comes to the cannabis we can grow in our house, it's the 4 plants per adult. And
It
now
is.
this leads me to this follow-up question.
Okay.
What do we do with all this pot that we just grew?
You can give it away.
Well, okay. Now, are they allowed to come and take all the excess that I grew? Is there a number on how much I'm allowed to have in my house that I've cultivated? Because I cultivate regularly since the movement. I have not. There was a brief moment where I didn't have plants in my own garden, but at any given time, I've always had they said we could have 4. I had my 4, and I've been kicking ass and taking names and switching genes and going through and finding all the right stuff. And is there a limit on how much one person can have in their home as far as like that is concerned?
No.
I like that answer.
Because they can't limit what a plant will produce,
Absolutely.
obviously. So when they say 4 plants, that's the limitation.
Yes.
So if you're growing and using it for your own use,
Yes.
and you can share in your home,
Yes.
you're fine.
Absolutely.
And you can take an ounce,
And just here you go. Have this. Have a great day.
you can gift,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You can travel with an ounce,
Okay.
right? Locked in the back.
Absolutely.
So it's, you're cool. But where people are going to get in trouble is carrying more than that, carrying it not appropriately,
Not appropriately.
or, getting high in the car going down the street speeding, right? Because a cop's not going to stop you because he sees you smoking a joint. He's going to stop you because you're speeding, or there's your lights out, or you rolled through a stop sign.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're going to get in trouble for smoking in
Yes.
public. Again, it's just a summons.
But can they use it like a DUI sort of offense if they catch you in your car smoking at let's say obviously you don't catch you just smoking the joint. You're driving down the street, you know whatever, but you blow through this stop sign, cop's sitting right there. You get pulled over. You got one of these bad boys sitting in your hand.
Uh-huh.
Odds are you're catching a DUI. I would have to imagine, right?
Well, DIP or something, right?
Okay.
But again, it should only be a summonsable offense. But the problem is that if there's multiple offenses, it depends on how many offenses. Because what happens a lot of times is offenses stack up. So like, all right, maybe you went too fast, right? So a cop pulls you over just because they're being a jerk that day. And yet, you just got high, so the car smells like weed. Okay, that's not too bad. But maybe you have a gun in the car that you shouldn't.
Ooh.
Or maybe you actually don't have a license.
Ouch.
Right? So those are things you see multipliers.
Okay. See. Yeah. All right. I get you.
It's all about reduction of risk.
Yes, absolutely. But I know when I travel, everything is in, definitely locked containers and out of my reach. Maybe aside from one of these, I might be,
Well, you know what I suggest? Instead of one of those, do those vaping things.
you know what? That has sort of been my go-to. I have been, on that if I need to on the road, but I'm still a flower man at heart. Like, I have, access to so many wonderful things. Rosin products, resins, live resins, rosins, hash rosins. I have so much wonderful stuff. And I smoke flower all day.
Yeah, but
And I say all day. Oh my goodness, this is the third joint I've had time for today. I have been a busy beaver. Yeah.
for traveling, though, edibles and vapes you couldn't rely on?
Only the Raven Killer has ever got me for an edible.
I don't know what that is.
So right, we have now patented a term. We have a lovely lady in our facility named Raven. I can't get high from edibles. I've never gotten high from edibles. Edibles don't work on me. And so, we've been usually offering the standard, 50 to 60 milligrams, slightly larger than a medical dosage. A medical dosage is 10 milligrams per serving. They can give you like a 40 milligram package. So we start off at around 45 and then go up from there. So we have the same Rice Krispie treat. It's a Fruity Pebble treat. I have it made with flour and butter. I have that same Rice Krispie treat made with distillate that now takes that 50 milligram treat and brings it up to like 75. And then we have something we call the Raven Killer, which is about 120, 30. What? How much is it? What? 175. 175
In
milligram
one
dosage
Krispie-
in one small Rice Krispie treat.
Whoa.
This Rice Krispie treat is for the look. Unless your body doesn't metabolize THC, if you are one of those people who says you don't get high from an edible, I dare you. I dare you to try a Raven Killer. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say. Just try me, the Raven Killer. Everybody who's had it's been like, how the hell am I high for 2 days? That's the answer I hear. That's the answer I hear. I don't hear like, I felt
Seriously?
it. No, I hear I was high for like almost 2 days. Like they're starting to gain their senses after about 24 hours. Like it is, you get baked. It's a lot of THC in a small package.
So will any of that be at your party?
Oh, you bet oh my goodness, you bet. Of course it is. Let's not forget I have my anniversary party coming up in what, maybe 10 more days, I believe it is. I believe we're
Be there or be
only
square.
10 days away, guys. Everything is going to be there. It's there for you guys. I want you to come and try it all. I want you to come and be a part of a memorable event. There's going to be so much going on at this thing. We were there today. taking a look around, figuring out how we're going to get all of this stuff crammed into such a small space. And I say small space. This place is huge. And I'm still like, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got free virtual reality for you guys to come out and play. Like, just come. You never played VR? I mean, look, if you get motion sickness, maybe don't. But if dude, come out and play VR. The Virtual Gamer League, we are one of their lead sponsors in that.
Wow.
They are an incredible group. They are weekly at Parlays on General Booth. They do these events at Peabody's. They do these events at just all around town. They do lots of these virtual gaming events. They're trying to bring the National Virtual Gaming League like here in full effect, so we have a more routine. And I get to be a part of helping these guys start their dream. So I'm pretty
Awesome.
stoked on that. That's pretty cool. One of our other people came on a few weeks ago, Reap from Reap Industries. He's one of their other sponsors. So there's a lot of local people helping sponsoring these guys to do their thing, and they are. One of our employees is actually going to be going to Parlays this Sunday to try and win that Oculus. He is. Every Sunday,
luck.
first place is an Oculus. It's like a noob though. Nobody knows how to play these games. Nobody's seen them. It's so new that it's not like a thing yet. So everybody's pretty much on an even playing field. Just go out and have some fun, and you might win something really cool. Like the first place is a VR set. Like,
Yeah.
brand new VR set. Are you kidding me? Those things are like $400.
They are.
My son was like, "Hey, Dad, I want one." I'm like, "Sure." You got to mow the lawn for the rest of the summer, son. That's a lot of yard work for an Oculus Rift, buddy.
Wow.
So yeah.
Try that thing out.
Absolutely.
And I understand you're supposed to bring a bathing suit?
Oh, this is a pool party indeed. There a pool, there is diving board, there is a water slide. Oh, and guess what else? There's 2 different hot tubs.
Oh.
Like whatever side you want to be right in front of the pool, you're right in front of the pool. You want to be back in the cut by the arts and crafts area where we're having that go down. That's going to be a great time too.
That might be where the kids are doing arts and crafts.
Oh, we have weed cutout wooden banners that we are going to get you guys to stain and do up. It's all complimentary. Just come out for real. Like you guys have been so great to me for the past year, and moving forward, you know, I can't thank my community enough who's been with me. We got up to 2,500 members. We got Zuck. They shut us
Wow.
down. And in about a week, we're almost at 1,000 already. So we're building back stronger. And, again, I was trying to give away a tent at 2,500 and we got hit. So I'm still giving away a tent. We're going to make it to 1,000 people.
Right.
So now, once 1,000 people hit our group, guess what? I got a free tent set up to give you guys. A 3x3. We've got some of the Blurple lights to go with it. We've got a fan and filter exhaust that is going to be coming to you from I Love Hydroponics on Newtown Road. They're going to help sponsor this with a fan and filter combo, brand new for you.
And that's lucky 1,000.
And that's 1,000. Once we hit 1,000 members, I will create a thread. You guys will drop your names on that thread with a number. We will put those names on a random wheel spin, and somebody is just going to take home that, no problem.
So everybody gets a chance.
Everybody gets a shot. It's not just like
Wow.
number 1,000. Everybody who got us back
look
up
at
to this
that.
point. Just put your name on that list when the thread comes up.
Woohoo!
Yeah. We go to the random.org site, and they do a random wheel spin. Maybe this one will start fresh. Maybe I'll pay for the service and we could do like a ducky race.
Oh.
They have one that's like rubber duckies that run down a track, and whichever one wins they're all numbered, and whichever
Yeah,
ducky
they're
wins
fun.
is the win.
They
So
used to do a race like that down the James River in Richmond for
Yeah.
a fundraiser.
that is awesome. I like that. Maybe I will have to check that out. Maybe they'll have another ducky race soon. I like
Awesome.
silly things like that.
Yeah.
So, guys, it's about halfway through this show. Let me jump in this tent. Let's talk to you for a few minutes. We're going to go ahead and get to the iGrow, You Grow, We Grow segment where we talk about one of these
Excellent.
beautiful ladies, and we'll see about getting you guys across that finish line too. What's up, guys? So, I'm sitting outside the tent nowadays just because these things have gotten so big. It makes it really hard for me to get in there. It's you know, it's going good. So far, we have cycled through 2 of those black cherry punches. The green phenom finished out really early. Such frosty resinous buds. She did incredible. She stayed short and stocky. Definitely grew more on the indica side of the spectrum, even though these are hybrids. So it was pretty interesting to see the 3 really nice phenoms we got out of it. We'll follow that one up with that purple phenome. She was about a week and a half later. It looked really amazing. She is drying out now. You saw the pictures of me harvesting her. I did a live on Instagram where I cut that purple one down and got it sorted, if I believe I'm correct. So, guys, what I'm trying to do here is teach you how to do this yourself. You don't have to rely on everybody else. Let me see if I can turn this down a little bit. We get a better shot of that plant there. Maybe not. It's kind of hard to see her. This one here has just turned remarkable. This is the actual cherry phenome that I was looking for from this black cherry punch. So we ended up with the 3 phenoms. We ended up with the green one that was short and stocky, and oh my goodness, so resinous. Absolutely incredible. I was pissed off about getting those herm plants, but you know what? For the ones that were winners, they're winners. Like all of them. They are all stacked up beautiful. Depending on what you are looking for in your grow, they're all winners. So, green phenome, short and chunky. Purple phenome, oh, she got about as tall as this. So I'm sitting on a 5-gallon bucket here. This plant is about 8 inches over my head right now. So I would say that's approximately 4.5 feet tall. That was a 4-week veg cycle. It was basically 6 weeks from seedling. So planted the seeds 6 weeks later, flipped them into flower. This is what we got. The idea was not to top any of them, just to flip their cycle and do a free grow. I ended up doing some lollipopping and some mild training. The buds got so heavy, the whole plant was just kind of falling over on itself. Same with the purple one and everything else. So the purple one turned out like grape soda. Like you touch it, you smell it. It's just so grape and funky. Very different. Plenty of gorgeous looking flowers on that one. Plenty of those to go around to share with everybody. So this one though, this one is the one that I'm really impressed by. She did not look like she is setting up to yield as high as the other ones, but when I say it smells like straight cherries, it's cherries. I cannot. The terpenes on this one are so unreal. When you hear a strain called cherry punch and it's cherry, you expect that it's cherry. You know, fruity, okay. Everything in that wheelhouse should be fruity. Odds are they're going to look more sativa-y, such as this. I'm going to go ahead and pop this family right here so you can see what I mean. And I'll get into the differences between sativas and indicas and hybrids here shortly. But this one grew more like a sativa, and the reason I say that is based on growth patterns and leaf structure, not on anything else. Everything nowadays is more or less a hybrid. The growers are the ones who see what signs it actually shows, and if you know your buds, you can kind of figure it out just from the structure themselves. I can look at a bud and more or less identify it as a sativa or an indica. But this one, clearly a sativa. We've got long, thin fingers. Long, thin fingers. Oh, let's see. We got some. I got a light there. Long, thin fingers. Yeah, there we go. I see a view on that now. So, these long, thin fingers are they'll just show you that this is how this plant's going to grow, even at an early age. You start seeing long, thin blades. Expect that thing to grow fast. Expect it to almost double in size from when you flip the flowering cycle. This plant was flipped its flowering cycle about this tall. All right, so clearly I've put on almost double the plant height since I flowered it. That's what those blades will tell you. On the other hand, that the green pheno had those wide, broader blades, showed me it was going to be more of an indica. It stayed stocky. Clearly, that one only grew to about half the size of one of these, and I had to have it on a cinder block to get it leveled up to the rest of the canopy. That's the trick with growing individual plants and not growing the same plant in the same room, is that you have to fight height differences and variances. It's one of the trickiest things to do. So if you're going to grow multiple strains in the same room, try to group them together. But again, we're here. We got the Black Cherry Punch Pheno. This is the one I was looking for. So I don't know if I'm going to share the plan. I've got plenty of other awesome ones. This one might just be mine, and I'll keep bringing you this awesome half purple, half green flower every chance I get, because that's what we're doing. Um, you know, it's this one here, not a heavy yielder, but there's some I can't wait to try this one. Something tells me this one is just absolutely incredible. So, when it comes to feeding programs, nutrients, things like that, doesn't matter which program you use. I'll talk to you guys about general hydroponics all day. It's a 3-part system, very, very basic, easy to use. There are so many guides online. I've seen charts online. I've seen everything online. Guess what? It's a very easy formula, and it's very easy to make adjustments with it and tune it up and tune it down depending on what your plant's needs. So let me try and break it down for you real quick, and then we'll jump back in the hot seat, and we'll see who's going to win tonight. Some of this wonderful stuff we have here that we just finished up for you. So, formulas for a GH product go 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, or 2, 2, 2. These are how you mix the nutrients per gallon of water, right? So I know that's, yeah, I just said just consecutive sets of numbers. There's only 3 of them. It's the easiest one to use. They have been here from the beginning. They've designed a virtually flawless plan that if you learn to manipulate in the slides, you can do really, really amazing things with it. Just make sure to always add some boosters there for your terpenes. But anyway, the way these formulas work is when you are starting these plants at a young age, you are going to do what I call a 3-2-1 formula. That is 3 parts of micro, 2 parts of grow, 1 part of bloom. What that does is that gives the ratio of nutrients that you mix together per gallon. So that's 3 milliliters, 2 milliliters, 1 milliliter per 1 gallon of water. Not like 3 different 1 gallons, all in the same 1 gallon. Don't mix those 3 things together, then pour them into the 1 gallon. All separately, then into the 1 gallon. Those 3 ingredients together are a great vegetative formula. They are a great starter formula. They will give you a nice, healthy, ready-to-go plant as you are going. After we get our plants out of the cloning phase, we give them nice, simple, that formula, and they stay nice and healthy and green until they're ready to come into somebody else's life. All the plants we use here are tested. I don't release them until they are. So, but anyway, these formulas are really, really easy to work with. They've made it really simple. 3-2-1, 2-2-2, or 1-2-3. 2-2-2 is your transitional phase when you're going from vegetative to flowering. 3-2-1 the other way. Bloom 3, micro 2, or bloom 3, grow 2, micro 1 is your flowering cycle formula. It's just the way you adjust those nutrients. So you start off with a heavier micro, grow, bloom. You go to an even grow, micro, bloom, and then you finish heavy with a heavy bloom, bloom, grow, micro. This formula is pretty standard. You can do anything you want with this. Tomatoes, cucumbers, anything you need to feed. If you need you can put this stuff in your yard if you want to. You can put it in your flower beds if you want to. But you can put it in coconut and vermiculite. This really wonderful medium that has nothing in it, and you have to feed it everything. This particular medium makes it really easy to keep your plants on track. Everybody talks about soils. Everybody talks about this, that, and the other. We tried Sohum. Sohum calls himself a living soil. Last time I checked, living soils really don't need much. It's just supposed to be water only. I'm going to work on trying to build one of these on a small scale, but I'm going to try and follow the Korean living soil recipe. This thing is pretty gnarly. It requires lots of gross bacterias, but with the formula they have in place, if you can actually build it properly, this thing will not need anything, and you will just grow vigorous, healthy cannabis plants, all with just tap water, just well water, whatever you can put. Rainwater, harvest your gutters in rainwater, guys. Water gets expensive. Harvest whatever you can, salvage what you can, recycle as much as possible. So, waste not, want not. There's plenty of good stuff here. What do we do with the leftover fan leaves? I've been saving them, putting them in a freezer for my Canagar mold, and I'm going to start wrapping cigars up in them for you. Especially these really, really gorgeous two-tone ones. We're just going to have a lot of fun with the different products. The stems, like I said, we use them as bedding mix for some of the plants outside. Everything that we, waste not, want not. So, the hydroponic feed that you do for plants like this, it's really easy to follow, and it's affordable. Don't think you need to spend a ton of money, when you're trying to get this started. General hydroponics is affordable. You can buy it in small containers. You can buy it in large containers. However you need to get it. I Love Hydroponics has tons of it, and they're a great store, great prices. Go check out my man Brian and Jay over there. They'll hook you up. Just tell them you're with iGrow. They'll look out for you. They're good people. So, anyway, general hydroponics for you guys who are just getting started. You don't need anything crazy. If you want to go crazy, go get you the Athena line. That stuff will kick some ass. But again, it's ridiculous. You can get some great results from anything. Just know your plants. That's the trick. So feeding them those base lines, you can then watch your plants. Your plants will then tell you what they need. You always watch your leaf tips. Leaf tips tell you what the plant's doing. When they start to shrivel, here, let me pluck this one off. Like I said, we're getting close to latent flower. They start to do this. This isn't a sign that anything's wrong on the plant. Let me see which way. This way look better. Here we go. Here we go. I'll bring these to the table and show you better. So it's not a sign that there's anything wrong with this plant. It's just a sign that says I'm getting late in life and it's almost time to harvest me. So that's what you'll see here. But this plant, I did not push to its limits. What I missed out on this plant was during peak flower. Again, I was just trying to keep it nice and easy to show you guys how it's done. I've got no leaf burn on any of my tips. That's all I look for. If I'm getting any sort of crazy stuff going on inside the leaves, unless it's a singularity problem, like it's located at this location only, you look everywhere else, everything looks fine, you're like, what did I do? Maybe you splashed water on it, I don't know. The answer is if you're not having any problems. So this plant has not been pushed to its limit. It could have been much fuller, but I always look for just that edge. That's all you're supposed to burn. You're not supposed to fry these leaves. But by the time you're harvesting this wonderful plant, your leaves are torched. Something's not right. You can have some signs of use and late season harvest, but if you're necrotic, if everything is torched out on this leaf, you're missing the goal. I see this a lot with soil. Soil is quick and easy to over-fertilize. So keep it easy with your fertilizers there, guys. Especially if you're in soil, a lot of times less is more with that. And remember, if you go heavy in your soils, how do you fix that? What am I supposed to do? RO water, reverse osmosis water. It is a 0 parts per million. It has nothing in it, which means when you pour it into your 5,000 ppm soil, it's going to take something out of it on the other side. So how do you fix your plants that you fried? You run RO water through them, or if you're in hydrogen peroxide for deteriorating root masses. I actually had this trouble with a plant that we potted too deep in a DWC recently. The plants are looking a little struggling. Upon inspection, I could see that they were planted really deep for the amount of flood water that was in there. And so we are trying to save that plant by using hydrogen peroxide to flush out the root mass. That should take off any of the dead bacteria that has built up on the root ball and hopefully allow the plant to restart circulating and restart absorbing nutrient. That's the goal with the hydrogen peroxide. Only in extreme cases do I use it like that. I've heard people using it in their water reservoirs. Just say you have a large reservoir and it's going to be a full 7 days for a water change. Okay, especially if you don't have like air stones everywhere. If you have a lot of air stones, it's not usually necessary. Basically, it's water with extra oxygen molecules attached to it. It's like H2O2. So, water with an extra oxygen molecule, so when you pour it into a tub of water, it literally just releases more oxygen in the water. But it acts like a cleaner for those plant roots. So, there are pros and cons to that product as well. If you have need any real details about it, just feel free to reach out. You know how to get a hold of me. I'm around. But anyway, so this is my personal favorite pheno in the group. But that is not to say that that purple one is not absolutely incredible. It should be ready to at least start sampling tomorrow on our end. I would like to see it fully cured. I got another few days on it, but I think I'm going to try that one tomorrow and see what we do. But anyway, so remember, when it comes to your feeding, you're going to ask me what I do, what I recommend. I'm going to recommend you cocoa, vermiculite, and hydroponic nutrients every time you water, because guess what? You can't drown a cocoa plant. You can't overfeed a cocoa plant. When you guys talk to me about, oh, is it overwatered? Is it underwatered? It doesn't happen with cocoa. Cocoa can't be overwatered. You can pour as much as you'd like through it. It's never going to have a problem. As long as the hydroponic nutrient you are pouring through that plant is proper, that plant is going to love everything you do to it. So, Gromies, that's it for our I Grow, You Grow, We Grow session. But thank you for staying with me, and keep on growing. Hey, Johnny. Everything cool with your mom?
She'll be much better now.
Going on, guys? So, that was Tent Time. You know how we do. We jump in this tent. We tell you guys or try to help you guys get some tips and lessons on how to grow. You want to grow like me? Coco. Soil is great outside. Outside. Not inside. I keep inside is cocoa. It looks like soil, feels like soil. It's not. So,
You
Julie.
said something about flipping a plant. What did that mean
Oh,
for us novices?
okay. So when you flip a plant, that's actually when you change the light cycle on it. So if you run an 18-hour daylight cycle, that's like early vegetative cycle. The plant is going to continue to grow until what I call the flip, is when you drop the light cycle down to 12 hours of daytime and 12 hours of nighttime. When you change your light timer down to that cycle, the plant is now going to start growing flowers. It'll typically stretch for about 2 to 3 weeks from that point, which means it'll continue to get taller, right? So don't think I grew my plant this big and now I'm ready to flower and it's done. Plan ahead, guys. If you only have this much overhead, you get to grow your plant this tall, this tall. So just be aware. But anyway, something like this, for example, like my bonsai on the bookshelf. So we are going to finish training this so it stays down like this. If you notice, I just have singular branches coming up here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to trigger this into flower very soon, and I'm going to fill those colas out in a straight line like that via intense training so it stays at this height. Right? So we don't ever
really
have to worry
gorgeous.
about it going all the way up. It is never going to get any taller than this bookshelf here to complete finish.
Wow.
And again, it may not grow anything as pretty or something like that because again, it's a bonsai. It's a random seed. I don't know what it was. This was gifted to me, and we used it as a house plant for a while. And all of a sudden, it started going into flower in the back window, but it got really stagnant. And I was like, you know what? Let me bring this thing back and see what I can do. And after about 5 days, it started growing back to normal. And now it is on a regular feeding routine.
Yeah, it looks like it might have some buds coming.
Well, it's going away from the bud cycle right now to go back so I can actually retrain everything. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a lot of this stuff off and only grow these ends back so I can retrain flatline pieces, right? Really turn this plant back level.
How wonderful.
So,
Interesting.
again, it just shows how versatile these plants really are. But anyway, that was a window house plant, got stagnant. And I'm just bringing it back with a little bit of TLC, and it's just kind of interesting.
It's looking good.
So, but yeah, like I said, I plants are what I love. I've been doing this a long time. I've taken plenty of courses over the years. I went to the Amsterdam College for cannabis. I did their program, and I've also done the Amsterdam program, but that was like their week-long one. It wasn't their super intensive one. But after the first program, the reality is they were very, very similar in what they did. So the knowledge that I picked up there, like one didn't really impress me more than the other. And I'll tell you, these are much older days, so we didn't use LEDs back then. Like when I took these classes, this light fixture, I would have gotten laughed out of a grow shop if I'd been like, "Do you have an LED for me?" They'd have been like, "What the heck are you doing?" Like,
didn't exist back then, did
yeah. So these didn't exist, and so now with the coming of age and the big LED movement, I'm actually kind of impressed with some of these lights can do. Again, I'm not going to tell you it's anything like an HPS 1000, and that is one of the big old school. When you see a plant room and you see it's lit up in orange, that's that. So you see a big orange light over 75 plants in a room, that's HPS. That's what that can do. That one light and that one fixture can grow so much more than one of these can, unless they just keep making these bigger, and that's what they're doing. As they're getting bigger and bigger, they started off at we end at 720, and now they're actually running true amperage of these numbers, so they're getting better. Some of these fixtures are actually getting to be what they say they are. It all started with I'm 1,000 watt. Somebody could have told me that was 1,000 watt, and that was the old LED. Now there's real numbers to go with some of these stuff, and I always tell people, check your spectrum and check your actual power draw. Those are the numbers that you should be concerned with. All the other stuff, diode count is good as well, but spectrum and stuff like that for those.
All right.
So, you know, different cool things as technology has come, and I'm, still learning to this day. I don't ever consider myself done learning. I'm never done learning. If
No.
I wake up in the morning and something new or something, I really do try to stay up on, just anything. I being stagnant and not staying, that's not for me. My education is important, and every day I wake up and I learn something, even if it's a new TikTok dance for my 7-year-old. All right, she comes in the kitchen and does a whip and nay nay. You know what? I got this. At least it's something. But it made me smile, and so that's the important part about all this. It's just about being happy.
I'm impressed you know what a whipping nene is.
Hey, look, believe me, I did not. I did not. I was introduced to this on a really long road trip for about an hour and a half, and now I know the whip and nay. So,
Obviously.
yeah, it's been awesome. So anyway, you know, I really appreciate all the knowledge you've helped. As far as keeping us safe, are there any other maybe tips or things you have for us? As far as let's say we've covered transportation, we've covered the amount of actual plants we're allowed to have in our house, which is actually a per adult thing, which I have been very much wrong about this whole time. I have been thinking it's been per household or
Nope.
but it's per adult in household.
Yes, sir.
That is great.
Good news.
Yeah, that definitely puts a
growers.
smile on my face for anybody who actually wants to cultivate these plants.
Absolutely. And that's the way to go. It really is.
Yeah, it's better to have it from here. I mean, let's keep the money in our economy.
Absolutely.
After all the craziness that has happened over the past few years, don't we want to support each other around here? At least that's my idea.
Amen.
So, I'm going to stick with it, and we're going to continue to do our best to bring you guys stuff right here from Virginia as much as possible. And believe me, within a very, very short amount of time, it'll be there, and we'll be rocking it out for you every single day. Just say the word, guys. So we're going to keep pushing to get ours fully legal, because that's what I'd really like to do. That's what she's here. She's going to assist my team in helping us get across that finish line. There's going to be plenty of people out here who can undercut and black market you, but if you want to know who's doing what and you want the true answers, I'm going to be as honest as I can, and I'm going to give it to you straight as I can. So say the word, guys. I'm going to do
Absolutely.
my best to provide a wonderful service and continue bringing you guys a wonderful service here in the area. And thank you for letting me be a part of that for you guys in your households. And thank you for, helping want to see us across our finish line.
It's a pleasure, TJ. And before we go to a winner, can I just say, if
Please.
you do end up getting in trouble, please don't talk to the cops. Please assert your Fifth Amendment rights, and please call a lawyer.
What do I say? There was those, pardon my language, but there were the shut the fuck up attorneys. I believe they were out for a while out in California. They just, guys, don't say anything. Be nice, be cordial, follow what they say, but you don't have to answer anything. Remember that. Don't say anything.
Well, you have to give them your name, but
Yes,
that's it.
Yeah. We're going to share your card if that's all right with you. So if anybody would
Please.
like to contact you.
Absolutely. If you get in trouble, call me.
If you get a hitch in your giddy up down that road, keep your mouth shut and reach out to my friend Julie over here. Miss Kern will be happy to take care of you guys.
I will.
All right.
Let's see
So-
who's winning.
Without further ado, let's see who we can give away some of this wonderful, wonderful, super sticky, icky flour. I mean,
And how do you
would
name
like to,
these things?
How do I what? Name them?
Yes.
I don't, unless I create them. So these come from a different breeder. This is actually Tarantula Genetics from Travis Spivey is the breeder. He's based out of Michigan. He's an incredible cultivator. I've actually got a room full of his plants going right now. And the plant next to the purple one in the tent is actually one of his as well. That is the Winter Weather Advisory plant right there. And so I'm actually finishing that out, and I'm hoping it's better than the Chimp Breath and the Gorilla Hands. Right,
Wow.
Gorilla Hands and Chimp Breath are both his as well. So we
Wow.
finished Gorilla Hands, we finished Chimp Breath. Phenomenal. right? The quality of the flower that comes out it's something I haven't seen in a long time being handed out by seed breeders. Like usually they're coveting these things. So the fact that they're now starting to release genetics on this level, I'm so happy. I can't even, I jump for joy every time I get to crack a new pack of something like this.
Awesome.
Like I look forward to new seed day. People are like, I can't get them to germinate. And I'm like, oh baby, please. There's some packs that I'll only get 2 to pop out of too. Like I lost a whole pack of a Canorado brand pack. The cool thing is, reputable breeders, you reach out to them, tell them what happened, and they'll replace them.
Oh, that's nice.
And especially coming, like, when I shoot emails to them and I'm like, hi, I do this all on live for people to watch. I've been doing this a long time. Check out my other grows. For some reason, your seeds didn't go. Do you know how fast they go? I am so sorry. Let me send you a new pack, and I'm going to throw you in some extra freebies.
Isn't that nice?
And
Good customer service.
do you know, I ordered from Green Wolf Genetics recently, and I was given a phone call from the breeder. What breeder do you know calls you on the phone to confirm your order? I could not have been more impressed with that service that he provided. So if you guys want something wild, use Green Wolf Genetics and see what happens. He's got some, Tarantula Genetics is fire stuff. Green Wolf Genetics is fire stuff. I've got a few of his clone cuts in. They are just absolutely incredible. I am looking forward to almost everything I have. We've got a few of the really, really wild stuff from Bee Leaf Genetics as well going on. Some of their rare truffles. So it's really cool what we have going on. But without further ado, I would love to give somebody some free smoke this evening. So we've got our list again. Oh, we got our last ones. There we go. We got our number scrolling on. So, all right. Let's get up here and do the thing. All right, guys. You see me on my wheel. That's how we do. I give you a real phone number to call in and to text on. That's that number right there. We keep it off the rest of the time, so after the show, it's going to be turned off. You're not going to be able to use it anymore. It will be turned back on at the next show. This is it's a great way for us to keep this list going. So this way, everybody on every platform has a way to access this. There's no way to short sale that one. Whether you're watching us on Instagram, whether you're watching us on Twitch or YouTube or Facebook or whatever your media platform is that you are standing here or sitting there this evening watching us. First of all, I thank you. But secondly, let's give somebody something awesome. All right, guys? So here we go. Tonight, if it is not one of these, we have the other names over here. But we are looking like we hit a number on the list. So Keith Nance. Man, Keith Nance. Good deal, buddy. Great job. We're going to send this out for you post haste. And, yeah, look forward to getting some feedback from you. And feel free to post in a group about how wonderful it is and everything else. Yeah, share with the group this product. It has not gone out yet. This is a grow from me personally. So just wait as the rest of the flowers get finished. We'll get them all out to you guys ourselves. So let me jump back in the chair and we'll end this thing.
Who was the lucky winner?
So Keith Nance, right here. Yeah. Oh, I know he's here. I know Mr. Nance is here. He's a great guy. We won't further discuss that. Just, hey, Mr. Nance. So anyway.
Lucky Mr. Nance.
Lucky Mr. Nance tonight. Like I said, all you got to do is just text in the hotline, and if you're you get on that list, if you're one of the first 24 to text in during the show, one of the flowers that we showcase here, I just give you guys. I just want you to try it. Tell me about it. Tell me how you like it. Tell me how you don't like it. Tell me whatever you want to tell me. But you know, you get something for free, and how cool is that? So, guys, thank you for joining me. Julie, thank you for joining me this evening.
TJ, before we go, you were kind enough to open up for questions, and there was just one or two. Would you like
I am
me
sorry.
to just address?
Absolutely. Yes. I'm sorry. I don't keep the phone and the monitor in this office. I have to get a bigger screen when we move to the studio, which starting next week we will be in the studio, and I will be able to read these questions as they come up. So, what do we got?
Just quickly, cannabis in your system, the only time it's going to be a problem is if your employer tests you and it's related to your job. in terms of driving, isn't everybody doing it under the influence of marijuana? You know, the only time you're going to be tested if you're doing a lot of other things wrong,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you, I can't tell you the last time I was tested. Oh, when I was on probation back in 2015. Last time. So, what do we got here?
And this one was interesting.
Okay.
Are the laws different for other plants? Obviously.
Yes, I like this. Well, it's plant extraction. So like let's just say let's just say I have some rosin or resin on me. Is that graded in the same category as that ounce of cannabis or my so let's just say I have, you know, I have an eighth of hashish, whatever form hashish.
The law has not caught up with the many ways that we can imbibe.
Okay.
So I can't answer that question because the law doesn't address it at this time.
Okay. So
But other states are regulating along other lines, like microdosing, psilocybin, and edibles. And the edibles will be regulated at the same way THC is in marijuana products. And so will resins. It'll all be regulated at the same level, tested the same level, but that kind of regulation doesn't exist in Virginia yet.
Yes.
So I'm saying to you, you know, eat a Rice Krispie.
Be smart. Try a Raven Killer if you ain't got nothing to do for a weekend. I'll say it like this. What I have seen other states do, and this was funny, I was actually in Las Vegas and this happened to me. So I went to the cookie store to go shopping because I'm like, I want to see what they have. How do they compare to me? How do I compare to... I've walked in, how do I compare to them? It's more like, how do they compare to me? They've got a retail store that looks pretty. Nobody's been formally trained. I did not talk to anybody knowledgeable. I asked about things. They pulled up a computer screen and scrolled through and swiped for me. There was no... I had somebody come up and talk to me after I took a number. But it was a very, very off-putting experience with very unknowledgeable staff. That's not what I go for. So no. I went to that store like, dude, they're the cookie store. Nah, they're the cookie store. They're a cool brand. That's it. But I'll say it like this. So what I was going with that was I purchased things to see how they were. I purchased some hash rosin from them. I purchased some all sorts of stuff. I bought a gambit because, you know, what the hell? I want to try it.
You're at the cookie store.
I want to try it. Like I said, get all of this wonderful stuff. They capped me at milligrams. They stopped me at milligrams based on the amount of milligrams of THC were in the flowers I had, plus the milligrams of...
There was a limit on what you could buy.
I was tapped off, and I had to have one of my buddies who I took out there go up to the counter and put it under his ID. So it was super difficult to leave with everything we wanted.
Bummer.
Hey, you mind paying for this? Here's $20. I can't buy this one.
I had to do that for a beer in the airport.
Right,
because my phone wouldn't work.
Right, what kind of crap is this? Like, hey, so yeah. So you know, I couldn't directly buy it, but the guy at the store made it really clear that I could have him, who wasn't going to purchase anything. I could just give him the money and he could buy it. What kind of rule is that? So like, I was capped off. I can't remember the number milligram. I can say I spent about $500 in that cookie store, and when I got back to my room, it was comparable. I did not feel that anything was better or worse, and then turns out I ended up at this crazy place out there in Vegas at the same time where apparently it's where a lot of the big stores shop. Like, it looks like our pop-up scene, only instead of it just being individual guys, it's like floor to ceiling, giant bags of weed. And
are you kidding?
I swear to you, I walked to a room that was, you know, a rather large space, and there was probably 5,000 pounds of pot in there. Without a question. Just as soon as you walked in, you had to smoke a joint.
We need to get at that level.
Eventually. All right, guys. Well, we'll catch you next week from the new studio, and keep on blazing, keep on growing, and the more you know, the better you can grow, guys. So let's keep this thing up and keep blazing, Virginia.
It's only one life, you don't get two, so live life, don't let it live you. I got a pocket full of $100 bills. Put on a jacket. it, cause these diamonds give you chills. 2 shots of